The new year is a time to celebrate the past and look toward the future.
New year, new me, incoming.
But being surrounded by the optimism inspired by a new year can also inspire us to overwhelm ourselves with an excessive number of goals in the hopes of becoming a new and improved version of ourselves. According to Forbes Health, 66.5% of people make at least 3 resolutions, and 61.7% make resolutions because of external pressure they feel. But if we're not actually ready to make drastic changes, it's unlikely that we'll be successful.
One of the hardest parts about making resolutions is keeping them. In fact, most resolutions are abandoned by February.
Or sooner.
Research shows that around 80 to 90% of people don't achieve their goals, hence the unofficial days of throwing in the towel, like January 17th's Ditched New Year's Resolutions Day, and the second Friday in January dubbed Quitter's Day.
I'm on a diet. Nah, that's correct.
So why do we keep setting ourselves up for failure year after year, knowing the anxiety that lies ahead?
So those were New Year's resolutions then, huh? That looks like a long list. You better get on it.
I don't know, maybe next year.
Let's unpack this annual tradition, why it often sparks an existential crisis, and how to find ways to stay positive while we reinvent ourselves. Stepping into a new year feels like the perfect time for new beginnings. We've finally made it through one cycle and are ready to hop into a different one full of endless possibilities. So what better time to become a new person, that person that you've always wanted to be?
The only reason that New Year's even exists, besides that pagan thing that no one talks about, is for the world to give us permission to try something new.
It only makes sense to become a new you at a time that signifies a clean slate, throwing out our old selves along with last year's calendar as we reflect on the past. After spending the final month of the year being reminded of everything everyone else has accomplished in 12 months, while often focusing on everything you haven't, it's hard not to start making grand plans about how this year is going to be different and deciding on what you want or feel like you need to change.
But the new year is a chance to wipe the dry erase board of life clean and start over. Unless some idiot has used a permanent marker.
While we know that changes can be made at any time, we've learned to associate a new year with a newer, better version of ourselves.
So like on any given Monday, you could say you're going vegan, but in January, everyone believes you.
Researchers identified this as the fresh start effect, temporal landmarks that represent a new chapter in our lives, the same way we see a Monday, a birthday, or a new school year.
This year's different. This year, it's my year. I can feel it.
But trying to become entirely different people, especially in a short amount of time, is objectively unrealistic and can lead to distress and even self-loathing.
Another year, just another light.
In fact, January actually might be the hardest time of year to implement changes. The weather is historically cold, coworkers are on vacation, and we're likely still recovering from overindulging over the holidays.
If January 1st hits, you're hungover and you're trying to set goals and then create a plan to achieve them, you're most likely going to fall off.
And starting out with such high hopes and lofty goals also means we also have further to fall. The frustration of not making progress within the first few days or weeks may make us want to quit completely. While the date may seem kind of arbitrary to some, there's a history of New Year resolutions rooted in rituals and religion dating back thousands of years to ancient Babylonians. They celebrated a new year by further demonstrating their loyalty to the gods. The Chinese New Year similarly focuses on internal evolution and performing good deeds to have a prosperous future.
Having a clean slate is an important part of the Lunar New Year. All debts, disputes, and grudges have to be resolved in order to ensure good fortune for the coming year.
Fresh off the boats, Jessica Huang makes sure everyone in her family has settled any baggage they've accumulated before they head into the next year. However, as her son points out, she's never had a clean slate herself.
Don't worry. This year, to ensure success, I am putting myself on lockdown. If I don't leave the house, I can't get into any fights.
It's her goal to get through the last day without her usual penchant for fighting. But of course, she faces more than one instance where her resolve is tested. Jessica's determination seemingly stems from her desire to finally have the perfect beginning for her family.
I just want our whole family to start out the new year on the right foot for once.
We're always searching for our true or ideal self, the person we believe is a better version of our past and or present self.
It's funny, no matter how old you get, New Year's Eve still feels like the one night where anything is possible.
And every year, the wellness industry encourages us to buy gym memberships, exercise equipment, and weight loss products to start the year off right.
Life is good. but it can be better.
According to a 2023 survey from Forbes Health One poll, improved fitness was the top resolution among American adults. Of course, these resolutions often aren't just about health. They often revolve around the societal pressure towards thinness. And so it's also no big surprise that women feel slightly more pressured to make resolutions than men.
Resolution number 1. Obviously, we'll lose 20 pounds.
Over the centuries, our most common resolutions have generally become external and achievement-focused rather than more introspective changes that might more positively impact our well-being.
Resolution number 2. Meet a guy.
Rom-coms, for example, often center on women trying to have it all, and the focus of their resolutions tend to be appearance and romance, which tend to go hand in hand.
It all began on New Year's Day in my 32nd year of being single. Once again, I found myself on my own.
Since for women especially, outside pressure often revolves around these two aspects of life, it makes sense that they would be a big theme for resolutions, but because they're so superficial, those changes are never the ones that lead to true happiness. New Year's resolutions are usually plot points in sitcoms, often even getting their own dedicated episode, because it's a clear obstacle, sending characters into the chaos and stress of committing to drastic behavioral changes in a short span of time.
Every day, I am going to do one thing I have never done before. That, my friends, is my New Year's resolution.
Sitcoms already love to pull humor from the struggles faced by the characters, so adding in both the heightened pressure of the new year and the time element ratchets up the havoc for the characters and the laughs for the audience. On The Office, Pam tries to make resolutions a fun group activity for her coworkers, even though everyone is clearly struggling or just outright refusing to take anything seriously.
The goal of this meeting is to get everybody excited about their resolutions. Who's been good about their resolutions so far?
Even when you think you're creating resolutions for the right reasons, those good intentions can easily get lost in all of the pressure that they create. In the end, trying to get others to support each other leads to even Pam herself breaking resolutions under stress.
Oh, Pam, soda, caffeine.
Yeah, just a little. I have a lot to deal with today.
Well, if you don't have to do them.
One reason we often give up on our resolutions is that we don't take the time to interrogate why we want to change specific aspects of ourselves and lives, or if we even need to change at all.
I wanted to start the new year with the new me, but I don't even understand who I was to change from it.
Do we really want to run that marathon, or is it just something we think we should do? Otherwise, if they're not actually important to us, we're guaranteed to give up soon, and nothing is actually going to get resolved. Plus, change is hard and inconvenient and uncomfortable, so if your heart's not in it, why would you continue?
You need to find a way that it's satisfying, fun, or easy. Ideally, all three. If it's stressful or if it's making you feel guilty or ashamed, give it up. It's not going to help.
The 2020s ushered in a world of uncertainty, and we saw a shift in how, or if, we make resolutions. Some have given up the passé traditional resolutions completely, opting for an anti-resolution mindset to avoid the toxic cycle of self-improvement and frustration. Lockdown forced people to alter their lives in social isolation and under increasing stress around job security and health concerns.
Be adventurous. Travel somewhere I haven't been every single month. Just leave the house once a week.
While #grindset influencers can oftentimes spearhead some of the most unhealthy types of resolution making, other creators seek to make inspiring content with the goal of helping followers stick to healthy, realistic goals. Some have shared the methods that make their resolutions manageable, like habit stacking and working towards smaller goals, nicknamed microlutions, throughout the year instead of trying to do everything all at once.
Similarly, with working out 5 days a week, reading 50 books, that seems really unmanageable and overwhelming to me right now. Because, bitch, please, I don't even work out 1 day a week right now.
These processes definitely require patience, but gradually incorporating these changes into our daily life/routines now means we'll have a better chance to make them stick. To avoid the negative side effects of traditional resolutions, many have started turning to alternatives that lean more into mindfulness and spirituality, like manifesting and reciting positive affirmations.
I saw this on TikTok last year and thought it was such a good idea.
The increasingly popular concept of intention setting focuses on specifics instead of grand yet vague goals. Then there's the slow living movement, which values a gentle approach to self-evolution, embracing the setbacks and challenges, valuing the journey rather than the result. When we focus on listening to our bodies when they need to move or when they need to rest, we can begin finding ways that we can achieve goals by doing things that we enjoy instead of forcing ourselves to do things we hate.
We've been doing this research for decades, and the big revolution we have now is people tend to do what they enjoy and not what they don't enjoy.
Personal growth is a lifelong process that we naturally crave as humans. And despite faltering past attempts and even outright failures, we're driven to implement positive changes.
Well, one of my New Year's resolutions is to say yes. Yes to love, yes to life, yes to staying in more.
But if we don't undergo proper preparation, we just end up in a state of deprivation that only hinders our growth and makes these lofty goals more and more unattainable. Call it a plan, a resolution, a life goal, whatever feels right to you. At the end of the day, it's amazing to attempt to take control of our lives and put in the effort to become healthier and happier. So let's not punish ourselves on the journey.
Because it's not about being perfect, it's about trying.
The lead up to the new year is often filled with a range of emotions, from joy to dread, anticipation to full-on anxiety. And there's one New Year's Eve tradition that can pull all of these emotions together at once, getting a kiss as the clock hits midnight. A superstition with a surprisingly long history, it's become the way to greet each new year for many. But that doesn't mean that things always go as planned.
Somebody kiss me, it's midnight, it's one time. Yeah.
Let's take a deeper look at the pressure to get the perfect midnight kiss, the variations that have arisen over time, how even securing that smooch doesn't mean things will play out the way you had hoped, and how this tradition is changing today. After the stress of cuffing season and trying to make sure that you're in a relationship for the holidays, a new pressure arises at the close of the year. To get a kiss from someone at midnight, whether you're in a relationship or not.
Why, my New Year's Eve kiss is the most important one of the whole year. It sets the tone for the next 365 days.
There's an overarching feeling of needing to get your life together before we roll into the next year. A pressure to get all of our ducks in a row and really start thinking about our futures. And a lot of that isn't necessarily fun.
New Year's resolution, drink less. Oh, and quit smoking. Oh. Keep New Year's resolutions.
The midnight kiss can feel like one way to quickly jumpstart at least one thing on the to-do list. Finding romance.
Nothing from Dobby since Christmas. I want to call again, but when I leave long messages, I have this nagging sense that I'll end up hearing them played back to me in a court of law.
There's an idea that one should begin the year as you wish to go on. And starting out in love, or at least in with someone seems like a good step in that direction. There are so many different superstitions surrounding letting go of one year and embracing the coming one, and the best way to set yourself off on the right foot.
And so I made a major decision. I had to make sure that next year I wouldn't end up shit-faced and listening to sad FM, easy listening for the over 30s.
The general idea of a New Year's kiss can allegedly be traced back to ancient Rome. But according to Time, the modern tradition in the US comes from German immigrants' New Year's celebrations in the 1800s. They also note another big contributor, the emergence of electricity and lighting that allowed the parties to continue into the night.
My New Year's resolution, sweetie, to have more fun.
There are even other kissing-related holiday traditions, like catching someone under the mistletoe. But the New Year's Eve kiss is the only one that's evolved to have the added pressure of a once-a-year countdown, meaning you've only got one chance to go for it, or you're destined to wait another 365 days for your next shot.
But I didn't get my New Year's kiss, and it's almost midnight. Darn it. Don't even think about it.
Much of the anxiety that surrounds the New Year's kiss is connected to the fear of, and the societal judgment around, being alone at the new year.
How come you're alone on New Year's Eve? Well, I got things to do.
There's the fear of being the only one in your group to not have someone to kiss, or worrying that not getting that midnight smooch means you're destined to an entire year of loneliness.
I didn't want you to be alone on New Year's. Actually, I didn't want to be alone on New Year's.
All of this has led to a number of different types of New Year's Eve kisses, from friendly pacts to relationship-defining moments, and everything in between. The New Year's Eve kiss seems simple on its face, a countdown and then a peck.
3, 2, 1.
But because it's become such a tradition, it can actually mean a number of different things, and occur in a bunch of different ways. Sometimes they're just a quick show of affection between friends during the swell of New Year's joy, and don't really have any deeper meaning.
Haven't we all had sex with Danny?
Oh yeah, that one weekend that I was bored. Just a New Year's Eve kiss.
I showed him a boob in a coat check room.
Sometimes people go in for the kiss just because of the tradition. They don't really care about who they kiss, they just want a kiss. This can unfortunately lead to a one-sided reaction to the kiss, where one person thinks it's just a friendly gesture, while the other is hoping for something more. Part of a larger number of less than stellar aftermaths, which we'll dig into more in a moment. Sometimes both parties are into each other, but for one reason or another, timing, fear, getting interrupted, they don't actually get to have that big kiss when the clock strikes midnight. But that doesn't mean that they'll never get it at all. This tradition can also give two people who are just friends, but secretly hoping to be more, the opportunity to test the waters on taking things to the next level. Just making that move on a regular day could be too nerve-wracking to bear. But the added excitement of the new year and the existing tradition can help give them the push they need to actually go for it. It can also be a chance for exes who have been thinking of rekindling things to start things back up. Or even a chance for frenemies to take a big leap in a new direction. Some of the sweetest on-screen New Year's Eve kisses have been the ones that happen in a quiet moment between two people in love. In all of the chaos and excitement of the celebrations, they're able to have a moment just for them, to celebrate their hopes for the coming future with each other. That doesn't always mean they have an easy time getting there. On Friends, when Monica and Chandler were still trying to keep their relationship under wraps, they feared they wouldn't get to share that special moment with each other because it would pretty obviously let the cat out of the bag. But thankfully, best friend Joey was undaunted.
We wanted to kiss at midnight, but nobody else is going to, so, All right. I'll take care of it.
In just a few seconds, he was able to concoct a plan that made sure that not only would Monica and Chandler get to have their moment, all of the friends would end up with someone to smooch. And then, of course, there are those major life-changing movie moments where everything comes together in a crescendo of love and confetti. On screen, these moments usually come as the repairing of a broken bond. The couple had thought things were ruined, but realize as the new year closes in that they do want to be together, and seal it with a kiss. On the OC, after making things pretty awkward when Marissa told him that she loved him,
I love you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ryan realized that he could still save the relationship if he was able to prove to her how much he really cared. In true teen soap fashion, this meant somehow scaling like 10 floors of a building before the end of the countdown to kiss Marissa as the clock struck midnight.
Think of you.
Harry and Sally's kiss at the end of When Harry Met Sally came after years of an on and off, up and down relationship between the two. But this was the moment that they decided to accept each other for who they are and love with their whole hearts. And it became one of the most iconic rom-com moments of all time.
I came here tonight because when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible.
While tradition might have led us to believe that securing a kiss by the time the clock hits midnight on the new year would change the trajectory of our lives for the better, that isn't always the case. The countdown kiss can be all fun and energetic in the thrill of the moment, but that doesn't always mean that things are going to work out for the rest of the year. While the superstition holds that sealing the year with a kiss will lead to relationship bliss, that isn't always how things work out. Your relationship will still have all of the same problems on the 1st that it had on the 31st, though that doesn't mean that you can't keep working on things. On the other end of the spectrum, sometimes a New Year's Eve kiss can even cause more problems.
How could you let her kiss you?
Charlotte, for God's sakes, it was just a little New Year's Eve kiss.
Oh, well, you don't believe in New Year's.
I know.
In the same way the intensity around New Year's resolutions has shifted and for many lessened, the obsession with sealing the night with a kiss has also started to fade. We're all already so stressed about everything year-round. Adding even more pressure right at the top of what is supposed to be a clean slate just isn't something as many people are keen to do anymore.
All rational people agree it's a truth self-evident that it's impossible to have a good time on New Year's Eve. The pressure's too immense.
Also, since some people can use the tradition as a reason to be creepy or weird, it can make it even more off-putting.
It'll mean nothing to us, boss lady, but how about a little sweet lip? So do you want a job in the new year? Back up off me.
And some people just don't want to be kissed at any time of year. Nowadays, many people are generally more focused on just enjoying the night with whoever they're with, friends, spouses, or total strangers. without putting the pressure of the entire rest of the year on just that one night.
It's not about the first kiss. It's about the first one that matters.
Whether you're spending the evening solo, having a quiet moment with people you care about, or partying the night away, we should all be able to take the time to focus on the things that bring us joy, instead of worrying about adhering to some old school tradition.
The world didn't end.
No, it didn't.
Happy New Year, Scully.
Happy New Year, Mother.
As far as most movies and shows are concerned, if you want to change your life, all you need to do is change your look.
What you need is a makeover.
A new outfit or entire wardrobe and updated hairdo can do wonders for confidence and is often used to externally signify a big internal shift taking place in a character. These montages are often a lot of fun moments of movie magic that make us wish we could live that fairy tale too, but there's one big part of changing your entire look that these movies and shows often leave out: the price tag.
Declined. Really? Could you try it again? Really declined.
So let's take a look at the finances behind some of our favorite movie makeovers, from the perfectly obtainable to the only on film totally unrealistic but still fun, and uncover what these makeover montages really tell us about creating a new and improved you.
Who is that sad little person? Are we doing a before and after piece I don't know about?
As we covered in our video on the ugly pretty girl trope, on screen the characters that get these makeovers are pretty much always played by beautiful actresses who are just dressed down a tiny bit to look more normal, which is the hideous before.
Guys, she's got glasses and a ponytail. Look at that. She's got paint on her overalls. What is that?
While movies and shows can get a little ridiculous with this part of the trope, it is true that just a few small tweaks can change your look. And given that our faces are what we show to the world every day, the conduit through which we express our emotions, it's not surprising that people often tend to zero in on them and what they want to change about them.
Pores are huge.
One thing movies seem to hate is glasses.
Do you wear contact lens?
Well, I have them, but I don't really like to wear them that much.
Now you do.
There is a belief that glasses are always holding the character back from reaching their true beauty potential. So what if she can't see? It's more important that everyone else can see her, right? On top of how ridiculous that is as a concept, the trope also always just glosses over a pretty huge financial issue. Glasses themselves are often already pretty expensive. When you add up the cost of the frames, prescription lenses, and the appointment with the eye doctor to get them, they can cost well into the hundreds of dollars for just a single pair. So to have to throw those out the window and get contacts is not a cheap feat, especially since those require a separate exam back to the eye doctor and the purchase of the boxes of contacts themselves. Then there's the skincare. Most of these characters already have Hollywood perfect skin, but there's still usually someone around to tell them that they need zit ointment or wrinkle cream. And as we all know, even when you're buying drugstore skincare, the cost starts adding up quickly. And don't forget about those teeth. Most characters are already pearly white, but of course they need to be a little whiter. While on screen, one whitening strip is usually all it takes to get Chip Skylark level chompers, in the real world you usually need to use an entire box of strips to see results, or even get professional whitening done, which can cost hundreds of dollars. Another so-called problem that movies, especially from the 90s and early 2000s, loved to hone in on is eyebrows.
When was the last time you tweezed? What? Is in your eyebrows. Never. Why? Well, did you ever watch Sesame Street? Uh-huh. You know Bert?
Nearly every makeover montage saw the recipient getting admonished for their allegedly over-the-top brows and forced to wax them within an inch of their lives. Even nowadays, an eyebrow wax by a professional can cost anywhere from $15 to over $100, and that's just for one visit. If you want to keep up the look, you have to keep paying, or learn to do it yourself, and hope you don't end up having any brow-destroying mishaps. Thankfully, in recent years, people have learned to love their bushy brows, and movies have stopped pushing the idea that anyone whose eyebrows aren't razor thin needs to wax them off, and that having a unibrow is some horrible problem. And then, of course, there's all of that beautiful makeup. This is where the montages usually start to get more fun. trying on lots of new colors and really getting lost in the magic of makeup. A lot of movie makeovers take place at home, with one character sharing their own makeup with the one being made over. Maybe not terribly hygienic, but definitely cost-effective. But others go all out with entire professional glam teams dropping in to pretty much completely change the character's face. Just one professional makeup artist will run you around $100 an hour, and it could be several times that depending on their level of expertise and just how much you want them to change your look. As you can see, a true makeover can start to hit your wallet in a big way surprisingly quickly, and that's not even mentioning the clothes.
Get in, loser. We're going shopping.
To go with their new look, characters usually need new outfits that match their updated vibe. Sometimes this just means buying a nice dress for one event, which can certainly get pricey, but often won't break the bank.
Congratulations, you just got your first slow-motion entrance.
But sometimes characters want to change it all and get an entirely new wardrobe, which even if they were doing Temu hauls would likely still add up quickly, but these characters usually hit the mall for a major shopping spree, which likely means hundreds of dollars or even thousands to get an entire new wardrobe.
You clean up real nice. Sure don't fit in down on the boulevard looking like you do. Not that you ever did.
Well, thanks. But it's easy to clean up when you got money.
Oftentimes in these cases, it's someone else footing that bill, so the character gets all the fun of shopping with none of the bummer of the credit card bill.
You work on commission, right?
Yes. Big mistake. Big. Huge.
The Devil Wears Prada, which reportedly had a $1 million wardrobe, sees Andy getting to borrow and sometimes keep incredibly expensive items, from bags to dresses from Dolce & Gabbana, Calvin Klein, and Chanel.
Are you wearing the Chanel boots?
Yeah, I am.
This is a new Marc Jacobs. This is sold out everywhere. Where did you get this?
Miranda didn't want it, so.
Oh, no. This bag is like $1,900. I cannot take this from you.
These characters often feel like the fact that they're not fashionable enough is a big part of the reason why they just can't seem to fit in. And of course, society is often telling them the same thing.
Just because you don't look like these girls in Poise magazine doesn't mean that you're not beautiful in your own way.
I don't want to be beautiful in my own way. I want to look like these people.
And when they do emerge as beautiful new swans, they usually are treated better by those around them, except their old friends, who often find the new look and new attitude threatening.
You're morphing into one of them. Next week, you could be waving pom-poms in my face.
But while they might have felt invisible before, now with their new look, they often have to worry if their newfound beauty is the only thing anyone sees in them, as if their entire personhood has been wiped away by the change.
The first time you saw me, I was cleaning your bathroom floor, only you didn't see me.
Sometimes the makeover is happening against their will. Someone else has decided that they need to clean up and look hot.
And you have no style or sense of fashion?
Well, I think that depends on what you're...
No. That wasn't a question.
But other times, it's something that the character wanted for a long time, but just couldn't or didn't know how to do. Whatever the motivation, makeovers are used on screen as visual markers of larger internal changes happening within the character. When the makeover is against their will, it usually happens at the beginning of the film and is the impetus for their change. It's through stepping into these new shoes, often literally, that they open themselves up to new experiences and grow as people.
And I realized that these women are smart, terrific people who are just trying to make a difference in the world.
When the makeover is the result of a latent desire finally making its way to the surface, the makeover usually happens at the end of the film, a culmination of the character's growth into their new self. Once your new makeup and wardrobe are set, there's always one last piece of the puzzle. Totally changing up your hair.
Your hair should make a statement.
As long as it doesn't say thank you very much for the Country Music Award.
Haircuts are a time-honored way of marking a big change in your life, especially for characters on screen. Whether they just went through a breakup, got a new job, or have just decided they're going to turn their life around, a big hair change is often involved.
Nothing personal, Lainey, but this particular coif doesn't really go with your face shape. What do you have in mind? You'd really have to trust me.
Haircuts come at many different price points, from free at-home DIYs to cheap snips at a local barber.
That'll be $8.
To all-out high-dollar glam blowouts at classy salons. How much a character spends or doesn't spend on their new do is often decided by what kind of change they're going through. Characters who are finally taking control of their life usually go for the at-home in the bathroom with a pair of kitchen scissors, or even an electric shaver if they're really going for a major change option. They are the ones who are making this big choice in their life, so they want to be the ones to make this physical change to go along with it. With style cuts, it can go either way. Sometimes the character just wants to pay to get a professional to bring their desire to life.
Where?
There.
There.
Other times, they're being pushed into making a change to better fit some idea of what they should look like.
We have to change the color of your hair.
What's wrong with my hair?
While every part of movie and TV makeovers can make us want to shell out some cash for a little update of our own, surprisingly, one of the most influential character changes of all time came from a haircut. In the 20th episode of Friends' first season, Rachel Green debuted a new haircut, and it became an immediate sensation. Dubbed the Rachel, women across the country flocked to salons hoping to get the same cut. The do has continued to inspire haircuts year after year, and even has its own surprisingly lengthy Wikipedia page. One obvious thing to consider with movie and TV makeovers is that their expensive nature is kind of the point. They're so entertaining precisely because they're so out of reach, but fun to think about doing. And even if we can't afford to completely change our entire wardrobe, makeup, and hair in a day, or month, or year, these joyful makeovers might give us the confidence we need to try out a few small tweaks or one new look we've been wanting to go for. And even if we don't want to change anything about ourselves at all, it can still be a good time to watch characters switch things up on screen. It only becomes a problem when we absorb the more negative aspects of the montages, especially from older decades, about how we have to change basic parts of ourselves if we want to be loved.
If it's just for myself, shouldn't I be comfortable? No. Put yourself first in a sexy way.
Or if we feel like we need to start racking up debt to get an allegedly better look. Nowadays, thanks to social media, we can make and share our own makeover montages whenever we feel like it, and get tips on how to change things up without breaking the bank. And even on-screen makeovers have started to change things up in recent years. No longer based on entirely buffing away yourself to create a new, shinier you, now they seek to just highlight the things that already make you amazing, and that's really the only makeover we need.
I am Dumpling. Will. I am Will. I am Willowdene. I'm a beauty queen.
New Girl's Jessica Day always quietly believed in herself. But over the course of the show, we got to watch her find her own kind of strong, quirky confidence. She learned to embrace who she was, no matter what anyone else had to say.
I break for birds. I rock a lot of polka dots. I have touched glitter in the last 24 hours.
But it wasn't always an easy road. While she never lost her positive demeanor for long, she definitely had to deal with her own fair share of ups and downs.
I feel like I want to murder someone, and also I want soft pretzels.
But no matter how much the world tried to drag her down, she always found a way to come out on top and turn it into a great lesson for herself and her friends. So let's take a look at Jess's confidence journey and see what she has to teach us. Jess's confidence journey is a bit different from the ones we often see on screen. While she is in a very down moment when we meet her, she's not necessarily someone who totally lacks confidence in herself. She knows that the people around her don't always see eye to eye with her on the things she likes. Both her style and interests trend very traditionally feminine, like bows and baking and crafting.
Do you own yarn?
Spools of it.
I craft so much.
Her naturally sweet demeanor can sometimes come across as a little juvenile. But given that she's a teacher who spends most of her days trying to teach little kids, that isn't that surprising. And she genuinely likes all of those kinds of things, even if they might seem a little silly to other people.
I could pretend to be more like you, Jess, and live on a sparkly rainbow, drive a unicorn around, and just sing all the time.
Yeah, I think you should sing all the time.
While she tries not to onboard everyone else's thoughts about her and let that affect her self-conception, she is a very empathetic person, and finds it difficult not to take other people's feelings into account.
Do you just walk around all day thinking about other people's feelings?
Yeah, don't you?
No. How do you get anything done?
It's hard.
While Jess is generally a very positive, forward-thinking person, even she sometimes can't make lemonade out of the lemons life throws at her. And that's a big part of what makes her so relatable.
I'm gonna die alone! Oh no! I am so sad right now! Oh, my heart hurts!
Growing up, Jess was sometimes compared to her beautiful friend Cece, who literally went on to become a model. While they never let this drive a wedge between them, Jess was certainly still aware of the way that she was seen by society compared to the traditionally beautiful Cece. This led to her adopting an idea of herself as essentially not the hot one, to the point that even into adulthood, she still has a hard time accepting that many people do find her attractive. She feels uncomfortable when this kind of spotlight is on her, and will try to break the tension by doing something weird so that she can feel like she's back in her safe, quirky box. While her quirky interests and awkward personality are genuine, they're also part of a wall she's built up around herself so that she can feel protected from getting hurt. We're introduced to Jess at a low point in her life, when the walls she's built up and the life she tried to pretend she was happy with have all come crumbling down. She's returned home from visiting her mother to find her boyfriend Spencer cheating on her. She hadn't even been that happy in the relationship, but the betrayal definitely still stings. She had spent a number of years trying to make this relationship work, only to have it end in such a depressing way. While this is momentarily devastating for Jess, it's also when we get to see the first flashes of her resilience. Even though she's down, she doesn't give up. First, she moves in with best friend Cece, but finds that living with a bunch of models isn't helping her mental state. So she looks for another solution, and happens to come across the Craigslist ad that would change her life forever. While Jess is still reeling from her breakup a bit after she moves in with the guys, with their encouragement, she quickly finds her footing again. She always knew deep down that she deserved better than her relationship with Spencer, but had become boxed in by her own conception of what kind of girl she was and what kind of relationship she should be happy with. With the help of the new perspectives in her life, and always there for her bestie Cece, Jess began finding her groove and opening herself up to loving her whole self, and going after the life she knows she really deserves.
Baby got hurt. That doesn't mean you stop trying, okay? Okay.
She comes to accept that the things she sometimes gets put down for, like her overactive imagination, kindness, naivete, are actually positive qualities.
And I know I'm gullible, because people tell me that, and I have no reason not to believe them.
They help her be the person she wants to be, and build the life she wants.
Because there's nothing wrong with who I am. And I like having fun at weddings. And I like dancing. And if you don't like that, then tough Peter tutor.
And it's actually when she goes against her natural impulses, or tries to hide important parts of herself, that she ends up having a bad time. She realizes that cool doesn't have to mean just one thing, and anyone that doesn't like her just the way she is doesn't deserve to be in her orbit.
And I'm sorry I don't talk like Murphy Brown, and I hate your pantsuit, and that doesn't mean I'm not smart and tough and strong.
While she might not always feel super confident, one big key part of her personality is that she is always willing to stand up for herself.
You want me to get real and stop being all cutesy and whatever? Fine. Let's get real. You don't do anything.
Even if she feels sad or put down, she knows that other people treating her poorly is wrong no matter what. And she, especially after dealing with Spencer, is willing to walk away from those kinds of negative situations, even when it's hard. This even includes breaking up with Nick when he, at the time, isn't able to give her the kind of relationship she knows she really wants. And respecting herself in this way means that she's able to surround herself with people who truly respect her too. While they don't always get her interests, they know that she's an important part of the group that they couldn't live without.
I'm gonna have to go on a craft run, aren't I?
I'm gonna need pipe cleaners, glitter, glue, finger paints, and 6 different types of macaroni, and that's just because I'm hungry.
But growth is a never-ending journey, and Jess certainly continues to hit roadblocks along the way. Even when she's begun to find her own groove, her life isn't without setbacks. She gets laid off from her job that she loves so much, and has to start figuring out who she is outside of being a teacher. And that isn't always an easy road.
Job hunt is on. This hospital website says I can earn up to $700 and all I have to do is be infected with dengue fever.
A lot of her sense of self was tied up in her job, and her calling shaping young minds. And it fits so well with her personality. So having that taken away meant that she was really left to figure out who Jess Day, the real adult, actually was.
I'm probably fine, but I also might be dead.
She and Cece were, thankfully, never truly pitted against each other because of their looks in the way we usually see when there's a hot friend split on screen. But that doesn't mean that they never had problems. But because they were real friends, they knew that their bond was way deeper than surface-level things like looks, and always had each other's backs.
Do you think if we met today, we would still be friends?
I don't know, but we're friends now.
Jess's interactions with other women on the show don't always go so smoothly, however. She and Nick's girlfriend Julia initially butt heads because they're essentially polar opposites. Julia is everything that Jess feels like she isn't, as a sleek, seemingly put-together lawyer. And Julia, in a very 2010s fashion, doesn't really gel with Jess's girly vibe at all.
With the cupcakes and the breaking for birds and bluebirds come and help me dress in the morning.
Oh, I didn't know I was doing a thing.
But Jess stands up for herself, and they're able to find some common ground and work things out. He hits a similar road bump with Reagan, who takes over her room while she's away for jury duty. Jess has always been a bit awkward when it comes to intimacy. While she's become more and more confident in other aspects of her life, she can still feel a little weird when it comes to getting close to someone physically.
I don't know what I'm doing emotionally, or let's be honest, sexually.
Reagan, on the other hand, is very in control of her sexuality, and able to be very direct and open about her thoughts in general in a way that Jess isn't always. Reagan is, at first, a very stereotypical men's dream girl.
God has walked among us, and you went to first base with her.
Several times.
But while Jess may want to learn a bit about accepting her sexuality from Reagan, Reagan wants to be more emotionally open like Jess.
I don't have a lot of friends that are girls. Oh my god. I think you're my first girlfriend.
In all of these relationships, we can see how happiness doesn't come from trying to be just like someone else, but in accepting your differences and opening yourself up to the growth that can come from being around people who engage with the world differently from you. What makes Jess's confidence journey so instructive is that it isn't perfect. She has setbacks and makes mistakes just like everyone else, but she always finds a way to keep moving forward. She doesn't experience a huge change in her personality over the course of her arc in the way we so often see with main characters on screen, which we discussed more back in this video, but that's mainly because there wasn't really much wrong with her in the first place. She's not a perfect person, no one is. But she didn't have some huge, glaring character flaw that she needed to alter to be able to live a happy life. She just needed to work on learning to accept herself and love herself more, which is actually pretty relatable in its own way. It's easy to get down on ourselves and think that we just need to rewrite our entire personalities to be the person we think we should be. But Jess shows us why it's actually so much more important to learn to accept ourselves the way we are.
You can't escape destiny. She comes for us all, that relentless...
She's also able to help her friends when they run into their own problems with self-confidence, because she knows what it's like to have to pull yourself out of that hole. Her advice works because it's not coming from someone looking down on them, but because it's coming from their friend who has plenty of experience with picking herself back up when things go wrong.
You got knocked down. It's time to get back up. I believe in you.
Her positive go-getter attitude can be grating to her friends at times, but it's also what allows her to keep going and not get caught up when she hits obstacles, emotional or literal.
You know what my Grammy always said? Why put off for tomorrow day what you could say today day?
Finding inner confidence doesn't mean that you'll never feel down about yourself again, and also doesn't mean that you need to change yourself to be someone else before you can acquire it.
You don't like my style. That's fine. But I'm not going to change who I am, so you're just going to have to deal with it and respect it.
True confidence is about figuring out your true inner self, what you really like and want out of life, and becoming unafraid to engage with that version of you, and work to bring it out into the world, even when that can be scary. Jess made a positive impact on all of her friends' lives, and her quirky journey of confidence helps us out too.
Sometimes I think I was bred in a lab to help people.
That's the take. Click here to watch the video we think you'll love, or here to check out a whole playlist of awesome content. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.